Every single day of your life, you are either building a case to get what you want or you're building a case to stay exactly where you're at. And if you leave your mind to do its own thing and you don't check in on it and you don't regularly feed it with mind juice and you are not actively and intentionally fueling it with abundance, it is going to be programmed for scarcity. It's going to be programmed for safety. It is going to be constantly seeking out evidence of why you need to stay where you're at and not do the uncomfortable thing, the vulnerable thing, the risky thing, the new thing, the awkward thing, the messy thing. This doesn't mean that you have to be spiraling and stressed out and activated all the time in order for you to call in your manifestations and make the money you want and have the support you want and the friendships and the love and all the things. What I'm saying is, if you are not doing things intentionally to reset your mind into the abundant zone and refocus it in and put those blinders on, it is impossible for you to get to where you want to go, or it's going to take you literally decades longer. And I have many people who've come to me after wasting decades of their life. And let me tell you something, I've wasted a couple decades of my own for that very reason. And this is why we're doing this episode today, to escape the money myths that are holding you hostage. If you're tired of hearing the same old basic mindset and motivational fluff talk, you've come to the right show. Welcome to Project Me with Tiffany Carter, the podcast, where we dish on everything from managing that crazy brain of yours to manifesting abundance to my straightforward, actionable steps that will make you major money online. Now, I'm not your typical multimillionaire entrepreneur. It takes a small village to keep my anxiety and depression in check. I'm inherently disorganized with an intense obsession with office supplies. Your girl here is a digital marketing content expert who's generated over $200 million in sales. I promise by tuning in twice a week, you will get a much needed refreshing dose of truth, clarity, and cash making advice. Now let's get to it. What up, my people, my posse, my fellow crazies? It's your host, Tiffany Carter, and this is the show that is going to help you grow your business, your bank account, that big, beautiful brain of yours, your relationships, your abundance, and everything in between. Let me ask you this for my business owners out there. Are you wondering why your offers keep getting put on people's maybe someday list? Oh, when I have more money, when I have more time. Right now, I'm just so busy. And you're starting to go, is it me? Is it my product? Is there something I'm missing here? Well, first, let me tell you, yes, you are missing something, but it's not what it is that you have to offer. And it's not your beautiful heart. And it's not the services you provide aren't good enough or the products you provide aren't good enough. It is how you are showcasing it and sharing it with your people. And there's a lack of connection. So it's like you giving someone a birthday present in Christmas wrapping paper, and you don't realize there's a disconnect. Likely is because you've not been taught true content marketing, especially in a way that I teach it with my famous emotional based sales techniques that will feel good and genuine to you and therefore feel that way to your audience. And I'm going to teach it to you for free in a one-time only live training event that's coming up on August 28th. There's a limitation on the number of live spots on Zoom to 500. So go grab your dang spot. Even if you have to pause and come back to this episode, you can swipe up. The link is in the show notes. It's in the description here on Project Me TV on YouTube, or you can go to projectmewithtiffany.com/special training. Corporations pay me a minimum of $27,000 for me to teach their teams this stuff. You want to prioritize showing up live, and you'll see why once you're there if you've never experienced one of my live events before. I've only done one other live event this year. So that's how rare it is that I do something like this. And I just want to make sure you prioritize it. You put it in your phone and you get a spot. If you absolutely can't attend for some reason, everyone is getting access to the replay for 10 days, and then we will be charging for it. So, regardless, you're going to get a head start in a skill that without a doubt will make you a crap ton of money for years to come. In my opinion, this is the number one skill that you can learn that will make you the most amount of money in exchange for you taking your time and energy and even your own money and learning it. And I'm giving you a head start for free because we pay things forward here. It's called the law of reciprocity and the law of attraction, right? Like this is what we do. We give back to our people and our communities and we pay it forward. So I can't wait to see you there. Let's get in to the craziness of your mind and all of this money noise that is fucking with you right now. I just want to make you guys well aware and validate you that last week in particular, if you were like, what the hell is going on? This is a shit show. You had like lots of communication issues. There's lots of weird stuff going on. We are in Mercury retrograde, and that is one of the things that can happen. But last week was particularly wild for every single person I know. Like, I got an email, and I'd find it fascinating if the person who sent the email is actually listening right now. All of us on the team and the few people I sent it to were like, what the actual fuck? Like, I said, WTF. I don't even know, probably 10 times a day last week. I was like, I don't even know what's going on. It was really bizarre. And it's just so funny. And it goes along with what we're talking about today is people will say and do outlandish stuff. And that does not mean it's a reflection of you. Actually, it's a reflection of what's going on within them. People will find any excuse, even if it's making something up or like making up a story and reading in between the lines of something you said to give them an excuse to not show up for themselves. That's how tricky and cunning and baffling our minds are. And I've done it myself. I've even made myself sick. So I've missed attending events before, where I really wanted to go and I even bought a ticket. And then I ended up being so nervous and got into my head so much that I wasn't able to go. And I've experienced this as someone who has events. You guys, my 2-day in-person mastermind is October 1st and 2nd. And I'm just saying, if you ain't playing, I really want to do something that rhymes. I can't think of another line. I'm just saying, if I ain't just sang and I ain't playing. Yeah, I can't think of one on the spot. Damn it. I was really hoping for some good jingle there. If you want to stop messing around in your business and really make money moves and have a clear ROI and a plan and actions that you know you're going to take that will without a doubt work as we head into the most profitable season that there is, especially online, which is, I would say, September 15th to January 15th. That's that range. You can't not make money if you follow the playbook I give you, right? I can't make you follow it. I can certainly encourage you. I can certainly badger you, but I can't make you. But if you do that, there's no way you won't see results. And you're going to learn those hands-on in person in 2 full days with me and my ProjectME dream team at a multi-million-dollar oceanfront house, as we should, because you guys deserve to luxuriate. And when we get exposed to next level abundance, it opens up new pathways for what's possible for us. Like, I love giving the example of when you get upgraded to first class and you're sitting up there and you're like, ooh, I never want to go back. Like, I'll never forget that feeling. Or you finally can afford like really nice sheets for your bed. And you're like, ooh, I can never go back. Same with towels. I'm looking at myself right now as I'm talking to you guys. And if you're not watching on Project Me TV on YouTube, you need to at least subscribe over there and once in a while check out what's going on. I bought something. I was influenced. I have this is a really good sidebar. Wait, before I go into this, let me give you the link so you can sign up for the damn mastermind. It's projectmewithtiffany.com/mastermind. The VIP option is sold out and the entire mastermind's almost sold out. So the links are in the show notes and here on Project Me TV on YouTube. I this company, I feel like the brand had a patch on the sleeve. I don't see it now. I wanted to shout out the brand, but I'll do it on my Instagram. Basically, here's how they sold me. They went after like the introverting angle, and it is a blanket and a hoodie in one. Now, you guys see enough of me. I have a vast hoodie collection. And I was like, I also have multiple blankies. I'm a big supporter of the adult blankie. And I was like, wait, you're combining them? So they even have thumb holes. I know. And it has like a nice like fleece on the inside and this oversized hood. So you can just totally cocoon yourself. So even though we are in the middle of summer here, I have the air conditioning cranked and I am in my hoodie blanket and you could pick out a lot of different patterns. I felt drawn to the mushroom pattern. And I have now been told by a couple people who have seen me in the hoodie blanket that they look like penises. So you can you can be the judge. I don't see it. I don't see it and I don't want to see it. Okay, maybe I see it a little bit. So you'll have to go check it out over there. I have picked for this episode the top 3 money myths that I have heard from you guys and people have coached, which is more than 150,000 people worldwide at this point from over the years. Because we want to go after these hot ones. If you love this episode and there's other big, glaring, loud beliefs that you have going on in that mind of yours, you can DM them to me on Instagram if that's easy for you at Project Me with Tiffany or on TikTok at Project Me with Tiffany, or you can reply to any of our emails. And you guys, by the way, can always respond to the emails we send out. That's not a weird thing. I just want you to know that. It really means a lot to me. I wrote a deeply personal email, as I do, on that went out on Sunday. And quite a few of you wrote back who are fellow survivors of sexual abuse and narcissistic abuse. And I just want to say, like, I really appreciate those replies, especially when I'm sharing something so vulnerable. They're not expected and I'm not dependent on them, but it is really nice to hear from you. I just want you to know that doesn't make you weird, or some of you think when you DM me, it's like stalkery. You'll say like, oh, I'm not stalking you. But I really want to tell you this. That's not weird to me. Like, this is a community. You're my fellow crazies. You're supposed to be whack and you're supposed to interact with me. And it's not a robot. It's me and my DMs. And by the way, it's not approved for any of you who are using some weird automated thing in your DMs to regularly talk to your people. That is a turnoff. Okay. The first one, work harder and do more to make more. Hence why I named my money and manifestation healing program Make More and Work Less. This is for sure the number one biggest one I get, right? You got to work harder. You got to do more in order to make more, but you're already exhausted. You don't have it in you. You're like, you've got to be kidding me. I have to do this now. And I don't want to do this. And what this causes is this burnout or avoid cycle. You either go and do all the things because you're acting out on the belief you have, right? Like whatever we believe, we act accordingly to that belief. So you have to change your belief in order to change your actions. You can also change your actions first and it will adjust your belief, but most people are too scared to do that. That's like quitting something cold turkey, but some of you are savage. And I know some of you have done it, whether it's coffee, alcohol, whatever. So we're going to get into that too, because I'm sharing with you how to escape this stuff, not just what they are. I hate that when you listen or read books or podcasts and it's like they tell you what the problem is, but they don't tell you how to fix it. It's like, okay, thanks. So you end up in this burnout avoid cycle because either you're acting on this belief of I have to do more, so I'm going to do more. I have to be productive all the time. I can't rest. I've got to do this. I got to do that. I got to be always be busy, blah, 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 blah. And then that's not working. And so then it's like, I must need to be working more. And then your internal algorithm is set to collect evidence to support the belief you have. So then you come across people on social media or even in real life who are like, I'm part of the 4 a.m. club and I get up at 4 a.m. And you like end up seeing all these people who are successful and they have these rigid, crazy schedules and you're trying to follow it. Or you end up you go into avoidance of even pursuing making more money, building the business, growing the business, pursuing a passion, going after something new, taking a risk. You just completely don't do it because you're like, I don't have the bandwidth. And therefore, I don't want to do it because I don't want what's going to come with that, because you believe what's going to come with that success, what's going to come with that abundance and that wealth is going to be more work, more pressure, more stressors, more of your time, more of your energy, and you don't want to give anymore. So fuck you, fuck it. I'm not doing it, or I'm going to kick the can down the road. I'll do it later, which is what I did, which is why it took me 10 years to start ProjectME with Tiffany Carter, the podcast and the Business Coaching Academy. I just kept kicking the can down the road. Well, I can't right now. I'm so busy in the business I already have, and I want to. And then the dream never left me, and there was never a good time. And I had it all wrong. But then I was ending up like listening to gurus, even going to conferences of these people who were those like early bird catches the you gotta go, 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 and push, push, push. And I was like, because that business is in like the B2B world. So I was around a lot of like corporate execs and that kind of stuff, and heavy, heavy, super masculine energy and highly competitive people. And so why would I have wanted to add more to my plate when I already felt more fried? And let me tell you something, it's just not true. So I'm going to give you two options of what you can do to escape this. One is the gradual titration approach. When you're you're quitting a belief, pretend you're quitting alcohol, you're quitting coffee, you're quitting weed, whatever vice that you have that you can imagine quitting, like, and you're just told you have to quit it. Like your doctor says you have to quit sugar or something like that. And you can either do the cold turkey approach, or I'm going to give you a titration approach. The titration approach is I want you to shift your focus into this is a trade, right? I'm bartering. I got to trade something to get what I want. I got to sacrifice something to get it. I've got to give my time and give my energy to get the money. So shift the focus into leveraging. How can I best leverage my existing skills and assets and talents in order to make more money while I don't do anymore? How can I do that? Maybe you go, I don't know how to do that. I haven't thought about it before. Okay, well, now it's time to think about it. Now let's have your brain chew on that and research that. Go listen to podcast episodes I have that talk about it, to my upcoming free live training event on August 28th, right? Like really start focusing on, okay, I'm going to solve this problem instead of how can I best leverage what I already have? We leverage time regularly. We even leverage our money. Look at what happens even when we go to a store where you get like a buy one, get one. That's leveraging. Everything that I have right now in ProjectME with Tiffany Carter is as a result of leveraging my existing skills, assets, and talents. It's I create one thing and I teach it to many people. I come up with systems and profitable content that sells things for me throughout the night. So I wake up to notifications of people buying things from me. This is what I mean by leveraging your skills, assets, and talents, and also leverage your time and energy so that things can work for you. Look at my ProjectME Posse business coaching membership. I make $500,000 a year on that. Let's say I have no experts coaching that month, which I can have experts coaching all month if I want. But let's say I didn't and it was me. It would be 1 hour every single week. So let's add time to plan the trainings I'm doing weekly in there. Okay, let's make it 6 hours a month. And then I have a membership director that I pay to manage the community and all the other things, right? Which is very worth it because that's leveraging my time by hiring someone else to do that. So my time, 6 hours a month for $500,000 a year. Would you be willing to do that? And if your ass isn't willing to do that, then okay, I'm concerned for you because that's a pretty damn good deal. Like, really damn good deal. It would be like my Make More Work Less course, right? Like you make a self-paced course like that that's so good and so elite. And all you have to do is talk about it and share about it. And the people want to buy it and people refer other people to buy it. And you can go to projectmewithtiffany.com/, make more work less to get it. And then that sells itself. I'm not involved. There's not a live component to it. That's why self-paced courses, that's such a great option once you're at a certain point in your business. And we're not going into that in this episode. But I just wanted to give you examples so it's your brain can at least start chewing on that noise, not on the noise of I don't want to do more. I don't want to have to deal with more people. That isn't getting you anywhere. That's keeping you stuck. That's not making you any money thinking that way. So let's at least you having like thoughts that bring you abundance. I think that's fair. Okay, second thing. That I don't have the money right now, or when I have the money, I'll invest, or I don't want to get into debt over this. So it's some version of if I had the money, I would do it. And I did this as well, especially with my first business. Part of why it was so hard for me to think about leaving my corporate job. I had the golden handcuffs of the 6-figure salary with a company car, an expense account, and the benefits. And I was afraid to leave because I was going to have to spend, some money, obviously, in building my business. And I didn't want to go to debt building my business. And it scared me to do that. And I was so focused on like going into debt or eating away at the savings that I had in order to start the business. And no one would give me a loan, by the way. Now they would. If I was starting from scratch now, there's a lot available now. You guys are very, very fortunate. There's PayPal credit. There's various credit unions. The banks are much more supportive of minorities and women in business. I mean, you really have a lot of options. I had to use credit cards, which is fine. And shout out American fucking Express and Citi cards. Okay. You motherfuckers helped me grow a business that is now an 8-figure business. And I'm very grateful. So here's how I want to talk to your brain with this. First of all, there are a lot of people who have accomplished a lot in success and impact and wealth who had nothing. You can literally Google that to remind yourself of that. It's that your brain has been so much on a loop of building the case of I can't until, right? I can't until I have money. I can't until I have time. I can't until this. And as long as you keep wearing that pathway, you're right. Another path will not appear if you're dead determined to not do that. But why would you do that to yourself? What are you getting out of doing that? What is the payoff of you continuing to wear a groove in a path you already know ends absolutely nowhere? It truly does not end in your growth. That's for sure. So instead, I want you to go, all right, how can I find the money? How can I get creative and make more money to invest? Obviously, not all debt is bad. Let me give you examples. Was the money that I put on those 2 credit cards to start my first business, was that bad debt? That's now an 8 fucking figure business. Okay? You tell me, was that bad debt? I think not. Do you think it was bad debt when I started ProjectME? I borrowed money from my first business to start ProjectME. And I don't know, let's say a cumulative amount that I spent early on between high-end brand photography shoots, hiring people, I went deep with it because I wanted to come out of the gate as strong as I could because I already had experience as being a entrepreneur at this point. And let's just say it was 80 grand. Would you say that me spending $80,000 to ramp up this podcast that is now top 5 in the entire world and helps millions and millions of people, and that this business that makes millions and millions of dollars, do you think that 80 grand was a bad investment? Exactly. It's that your brain is all tied in a knot over something else. And it's that you're not believing that it's going to pay off. You're so stuck in the, well, what if I spend this and it doesn't work out? There's no way it can't work out unless you're determined it won't work out. And there are some people I have coached and I have come across who are so determined for something not to work, and that requires a lot of money healing. That's someone I would send to my Make More Work Less course because there's deeper stuff going on that they're protecting themselves from, and there's a payoff for going down that path. So you put money into learning something, and that thing that you're going to learn, or that thing you're going to get cleared up, that thing you're going to advance in is a skill that is going to make you money. That is a no fucking brainer. That's why my mastermind is a no brainer and is almost sold out. First of all, it's a tax deduction because you are learning from a high level business and marketing strategist. Second of all, this is the second highest, most profitable skill that you can learn according to Forbes for the second year in a row. The first one is like coding and stuff like that. Truly, I feel the 2 top tier skills that you will never lose your money on unless you're determined for something to not work are learning how to share and showcase and sell your offers, and profitable content marketing. Period. End of story. Because whatever business you go into, whether you're selling muffins, you're making jewelry, you're a healer, you're a service provider, you're in the beauty industry, bottom line, all business requires marketing and sales. Period. You're not doing that, you will not have a business. You are operating on luck and a hope and a prayer, and it will not end well. And that's why it's not going well for some of you. And I don't want to see that continue. So I want you to shift your focus in this debt area, or I don't have the money. And how can I bring in the money? How can I get creative here? How is this going to pay me back? Ask yourself different questions and you will get different answers. But if you really still want to be focused on this and you find yourself arguing with me right now in your head, like, but Tiffany, you don't understand. I've got 3 kids and I'm a single mom, but Tiffany, you don't understand. Then I want you to Google examples of women who are single with children who are now millionaires. Start Googling stuff. You're just not feeding yourself with enough evidence of all these things that exist. I've coached tons of clients who are in dire circumstances. And you know what happens when people are in circumstances like that? those motherfuckers get scrappy and rise. My clients who I notice hold themselves back the most are the ones that are too comfy cozy. They've got the rich husband going on that they don't want to leave because I coach people who have the rich husband and they want to leave. They don't want to leave, and they have another business like I did that was doing really well, and I was so comfy cozy. I wasn't in enough pain and discomfort for me to take the risk to actually start my dream business, which is what I'm doing right now. I had to get so sick and tired of myself to get to this point, and I just don't want to see it taking 10 years for you. Okay? Because that's crazy that it took me that long. The third thing, it isn't likely or possible for someone like me, right? It isn't likely for someone like me to have that kind of success. I mean, really, what are the odds? What are the real chances of someone like me being able to make this great money doing this thing, right? Like, I don't know any other healers who make money. I don't know any artists who do this. Like, I didn't have formal education. I'm not that confident. I don't know technology. I've heard it all from all of you on repeat. And you know what? I mean, you've got to believe in something different to have something different. You can continue to co-sign on all those beliefs and it's going to keep you where you're at, and that's a choice. Or you can co-sign on a different belief and you'll end up having something different. It's like abundance is not reserved for a specific type of person. Abundance is here for all of us. And there's so much evidence of it out in the world. And you need to start stacking that contrary evidence of these crazy ass thoughts you're having of it's not possible for me. It's not possible for me because of this. Who can I do this? If you really fuel that, which a lot of you have been caught up in that lately, you've been fueling that. Yeah. Whatever you fuel is going to fester, and that's what your results are going to be. So you already have evidence of that. Why not fuel and fester things to your advantage? Why not go, why couldn't it be someone like me? I'm a good person. I have great listening skills. I care about people. I know how to do this, that, or the other. So what? I don't know how to do all these other things. No one else who started businesses or wrote a book or started a TikTok or an Instagram, we all had to learn from day one. Some of us made a choice to make it easier on ourselves and pay people to show us the way and give us the roadmap so we didn't have to like do trial and error and figure it out and waste time and money. And you can do it either which way. But to continue to feed these money myths in your brain, this noise, the noise just gets louder and louder and louder, and you shrink smaller and smaller and smaller. And there's no way you're listening to this podcast episode if that's what you wanted for your life. It's literally impossible. Like, you wouldn't be attracted to me otherwise. And I know you don't want to think these thoughts. And it's kind of like eating something or doing a habit, a behavior, an addiction you know is not good for you. You don't want to do it, yet you keep doing it. The only way to stop doing it is by taking contrary action. You've actually got to be conscious and feed your mind the opposite. You've got to reset and train your algorithm every single day. My brain slips into scarcity all the time. That's why I have my summer abundance walks for you guys that you can get for free. You know, that's why I do those. That's why I float. That's why I take abundance baths, abundance showers. That's why I have these conversations. That's also why I started the Posse membership, because I wanted to have an online membership community where we talked about the real stuff. No one's positioning and posturing in there of, oh, I've had all this success and that success, and not talking about all the things. We talk about all the fucking things in there. And I started what I wish I had that would have made me start sooner. My mastermind experience, there is nothing fucking like it. Period. End of story. You want to make a move that will change your life and you want to rip off the Band-Aid and you're one of these savage people where you're like, you know what? Enough's a fucking enough already. Why fucking not? I'm going to do this for myself. I'm going to do this for the greater good. That is your move without a doubt. ProjectMeWithTiffany.com/mastermind. You can swipe up. The link is in the show notes. It's also in the description here on Project Me TV on YouTube. And I just want you to make a move regardless. There's no reason you shouldn't be coming to the free live training. There is no reason you shouldn't be making a bolder move. There is nothing more powerful than taking an action that is so opposite from all the money noise in your brain, where you finally go, you know what? Fuck it. I'm booking the photographer. You know what? Fuck it. I'm going to post this video about this and screw Aunt Susie and whatever the hell she says behind my back. You know what? I'm going to dye my hair purple because I've always wanted to, and I don't really care anymore what people think. Even if your brain still has all that noise, but you take a really bold action in the other direction, it's incredible how much quieter that noise gets because you realize I've done it and nothing bad has happened. In fact, only good things are happening. Now I'm attracting more good. Now I'm attracting more abundance because I put myself in the abundance zone by taking this bold move. And not only am I taking bold actions, but I'm retraining my mind and I'm thinking in a bold, abundant way. Well, how couldn't everything shift for me? How couldn't it shift out of shit into shine? There's no way it can't. Just as effective as all this stuff is for keeping you stuck, it's equally as effective for having you soar. I promise you. It's just that it's a default program for us to end up in the shits. We have to actually do some work and be disciplined, and it is a more mental gymnastics to get us into the abundance. But let me tell you, that's a much better place to be. Wishing you great health, wealth, and worth as always. Love you. Go sign up for the live training on August 28th, ProjectMeWithTiffany.com/special training. All of the links of everything I mentioned are inside the show notes here in the description on YouTube, so you can easily access them. And shout out this episode, write a review on Apple Podcasts. Let me know. I would love to know what other stories, money noise comes up in your mind. And then I'll create another episode addressing those so you can listen to this again and again and again. We have got to create a different pathway, and it's the pathway to abundance. You already know the pathway to scarcity. We need to put a big danger sign, crossing sign on there. Okay. Like enter at your own risk. We don't need to do that anymore. We're going down the pathway to abundance and we're doing it together. If you enjoyed this podcast, please write a 5-star review on iTunes. Not only will this make me super happy, but it will allow more listeners to find our special show. Simply help me help others.